All right. So talking of the complexity of SBOMs, there's another attribute to SBOMs, and that is that they are static, right? They are mostly point in time for a software. So the version will reflect at that point, the point of creation or the time of build, what exactly was the version of packages and the libraries that went into it. And what happens is over a period of time, they start getting stale, getting older, and then there are vulnerabilities that creep in these versions and so on and so forth. And all that information is also not there in the SBOMs. It's just talking about, okay, this is the constituents of your software.
Yeah, so this is where people have kind of taken it on the face, not in the spirit. So on the face, it says when you deliver a service, you should provide SBOM. And then on the ground reality or in the spirit, what they were asking for was when you give an artifact out, whatever is the static fingerprint of that artifact is what should be covered in the SBOM. If the static fingerprint changes, the SBOM should change accordingly. Which is why most of us who are talking about SBOMs, we ask people to create SBOMs at the build time. Or if you have an environment like, for example, a Python or an NPM kind of an ecosystem, not exactly NPM in this sense, but say Python or Ruby kind of environment, where gems or the modules can be independently updated. In that scenario, you should ideally freeze your requirements. So contrary to what everyone says that always keep your dependencies updated and whatnot, ideally what you should have is, one, you should keep your dependencies updated, but that should be part of the process, not an ad hoc action that a developer or that a user has to take. So the developer has to provide new versions as and when an update is there, and with every new version there should be a corresponding SBOM to it. So the problem that is happening right now that I'm seeing is SBOM requirement is a vendor checklist. So the vendor onboarding team asks for an SBOM. The new version that then gets distributed or self updates, no one asks for an SBOM of that. And that is why the vendors are inclined to use it as a static document. I don't know if you have been lucky enough to see this. I have seen SBOMs in an Excel sheet also.
Okay. That was the only thing left.
So people have gone to the lengths of trying to ensure not provide anything more than what is required. And there's a funny story also around this. So I was working with CISA Tiger team groups around the different SBOMs and types and whatnot. And there is this one funny thing that came up. There are certain departments who have basically said that, hey, we want these elements in your document. Anything more than what we have asked, if you provide that, that is liable to a fine. And after having a discussion, I could realize how that can actually be a problem. It can be a problem. See, if I'm asking you to provide me 5 lines or 5 line items, and I don't have that kind of a requirement, I as a vendor can actually dump a 500-page document to you saying go figure it out. It's all inside.
Oh, that way. Okay.
So they don't want that hassle. They've very clearly said, hey, we are asking you for these elements, just give us these. That's it. Anything more, you're liable for a fine. So now it's not just that you have to have a document, you have to have a very specific document. So the vendor side of argument is, if I have to create separate documents for everyone, I might as well keep some sort of a static document which I can just distribute to everyone. What no one tries to work towards is automating this thing so that you have one master document and you have branches which are basically whatever minimum elements are needed for X, for Y, for Z, and they're just available there. But that's where the whole angle around SBOMs are not public documents. SBOM should be private within the control of a vendor comes into picture. That's another can of worms.